Okay, hi. So today we want to talk about something that you would wonder, well, what's that got to do with food and health? And it's called living in separate realities. And we really experience this most poignantly when we have a conflict with someone like our partner. That's when we really experience that we do not live in the same reality. So, what is this idea of separate realities in relationship to food? Well, when we don't understand that we live in separate realities, it can create a lot of stress. Because often for me, I would think, why can't he see this? It is so obviously clear. And then I would get worked up. And that's when we get that elevated emotional response to life. We often reach for food to try to calm down. So, this is showing, hopefully, one way to release that trigger, one way to, in awareness, see life a little differently and therefore live it from a more relaxed, settled, joyful, loving place.
Yeah, it's what we're always trying to get back to, isn't it? It's like whenever there's some tension, we're working, but it's like this, we're trying to get the other person to see our point of view so that things will settle down. We're always looking for that state of peace and ease, stress-free living in our lives. And so the value of understanding that we're all living in separate realities takes the effort out of trying to get them to see it our way,
Yeah.
because there's really no right or wrong separate reality. Um, we've all experienced it,
I thought it'd be great if we shared what is a real separate reality for us as an
Okay.
example. So I love an immaculate kitchen, and I mean that in those words. And I think it's how it should be kept, especially when we cook food there that we ingest. And I do so much cooking, and it's so good. I should deserve an immaculate kitchen.
Right. So that's her reality now. Is that seen as just this is the way I like it, or is this the absolute truth? This is the way my world should be, the world should be.
Yeah, of course.
Right. So you see, we get that point of view becomes our belief that it is the reality as opposed to it's my reality, my separate reality. So I think you can see where it
Well,
gets to
what's
be a
your
problem.
reality?
So
So
my
nice.
reality is that I look around and this place is spotless, and I can find proof. Okay, this is what the mind always does, right? We look for the proof of our reality being the reality. So we used to have people from time to time, we'd have people come in to clean the house for us because we were really busy with the business we were doing. And just like, let's get somebody else to clean it. They would come in and comment that our house, when they came in to clean it, was cleaner than often houses that they left having cleaned. So my mind takes that and goes, see what they said? This is super clean. She's just so over the top, da 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 da. You get it? My reality different from her reality, and so trying to find peace from these two separate realities in our minds was like until they see it my way, there's no peace because this is the reality.
And do they ever see it your way?
And do they
No,
need to?
no, no, no.
This is the point. You don't need to have your partner see it the same way you do. When we realize there's separate realities, then we simply go, okay, we need to find a creative solution that we can both live with, that we can both find that peace with. when I can let go of the idea that my point of view isn't the reality everybody needs to move into so that the world is right, then I can relax. And in that relaxed state,
That's the key.
that's where new thought can come. Until I can let go of my position, I'm not open to really finding creative solution that can incorporate her reality, her needs to find, what allows her to find peace in her life.
So the secret is relaxation, as Bill said. And in relaxing the thinking mind, as I keep pointing to, we access our deeper wisdom. And that's where all solution comes from, really. So then something will arise that will show how both realities, as Bill was saying, can be incorporated into the situation. And then no stress. Then no drive to overeat. It's a very good process. We don't ask you to believe it, we ask you to explore it. See this week when you get triggered, if you're living in a reality that's different than someone else. And not then, that's not the time to discuss it. But when you allow yourself to settle, and they're very settled, you can, if you wish, have a discussion about how they see things and how you see things. And then leave it alone. Both of you relax and see what new solution comes forward that will allow for that well-being and joy and love that we all are to be present in the midst of challenge.
Differences, in the midst of differences.
Yeah.
And so, what Connie's saying there, when we come together from a settled place and understanding this reality of separate realities, then it opens the possibility for a really deep conversation. So what we suggest in that conversation to find creative solution is being willing to really listen to the other person's point of view, to really understand that. We don't have to make it right or wrong. It's just their point of view. It's like so many things we say, circumstances are neutral. Their point of view is neutral, but so is mine. Mine doesn't feel neutral when I'm putting a stake in the ground saying this is the reality.
Yeah.
But the truth is, it's simply my point of view, and they have their point of view. And when we see that, by really being willing to listen to what they have to say and take that in this open place of, like Connie says, accessing our wisdom, things come that, new thought comes. That's where solution is always found. And that's where, peace and harmony is found. The universe, everywhere I look in nature, there's always harmony and beauty. And there's a lot of conflict going on, there's competition for, you could say, competition for nutrients, for food, for sun, for all of this. And plants are having to grow this way and that way to get the sun they need. But it's all done from this place of ease. And the result is everybody gets what they need, and it's beautiful and it's harmonious. Now, that doesn't mean some things don't die out because they didn't get enough sun or whatever, but all of that is in this natural balance and ease. And one of the most wonderful experiences of relating and connecting is in that place of ease. That is just such a bottom line value.
Yeah, and that comes when we have conflict or not, anytime, when we just relax out of the thinking mind. And one thing people do a lot, which serves them too, is they go out for a little walk in nature, because nature, as Bill's saying, reflects that ease and that settled state. And that helps us do the same.
Yeah, so whenever I feel like there's this feeling of conflict coming up, and I recognize this truth of separate realities, then it shifts from being a conflict to simply being a difference. And differences don't trigger me like something's got to change does. If I don't see that they're separate realities, then something's got to change to get everything to align with my separate reality. That's a lot of work, and I think we've all experienced it never really works.
Yeah.
So yeah, just understanding the value of understanding separate realities can really disconnect what have become habits lots of times in relationships where little buttons get pushed. And so when we know someone has a button, we end up walking on eggshells instead of being able to understand they're simply separate realities. And by having a deep conversation to understand each other's separate realities, we can eliminate all the eggshells.
And the real benefit in that, too, when you really are settled and listen to your partner's reality from just openness, it triggers or kindles the compassion in you.
It brings us closer.
Yeah, and you have a new understanding.
That's beautiful.
And it will help in every area of life, but also with food.
Yeah. So it may seem a little abstract or disconnected from what's this have to do with food. But for anybody who knows that they often will turn to food to try to settle, this goes upstream so that we don't even get to the point where we're looking for something to settle because we've gotten agitated about something that we actually don't have to get agitated about if we understand this truth of separate realities.
Great. Now, recipe, this is so good. It's called a teriyaki fried rice, but it doesn't use oil, of course. And it is delicious. Really easy to make.
And it's got a wonderful palette of flavors and textures. Every bite is just a delight.
Yeah, so give it a try. And the pineapple is heaven in it. And we just use frozen pineapple, but fresh is great. You decide you can even use canned. It's up to you.
Thanks for joining us again.
Yeah,
See you
thank
soon.
you.